Buckle up and strap in. The federal government just announced they're not only willing to crash the economy, they're going to crash the housing market along with it. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It is very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And friends, it is absolutely true. Have you seen what just occurred right now? We're going to read between the lines and look between the cracks. And friends, it's almost equally as important as what Jerome Powell just said in his most recent statement is how he said it. Today, we're going to take a look at just a very short, condensed clip of what he just said. And just as important as his words that you're about to hear, I want you to listen to how he is saying it. His job is to provide comfort to the American public, to make us think they have this under control. You can tell this thing is not looking good. He needs to sugarcoat this. The current administration, do you think that they want him saying the words that he's saying, the way he's saying it? Listen, I'm sure if just like here, I always say I'm just scratching the surface. I always try to do my best to communicate our message in a way that hopefully makes sense and that doesn't necessarily alarm people, just raises awareness. Well, guess what, friends? They are raising awareness in a big, massive way. So today we're going to take a look at the current statement from our federal government and what they're saying they're going to do to this economy and the pain that's potentially around the corner. I want you to read between the lines and look between the cracks. Like I've always said, as a trained salesman, trained in the psychology of sales, trained in the psychology of people, I tune into everything. I always have to read people's speech, their tone, everything I take into account anytime I'm dealing with people, because that's the best way I can help them. This is alarming. This is massively alarming. Let's roll this clip. Then we're going to meet back here and wrap this one up. Let's get started.
The ever-changing structure of the economy and the challenges of conducting monetary policy under high uncertainty. Today, my remarks will be shorter, my focus narrower, and my message more direct, is to bring inflation back down to our 2% goal. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve and serves as the bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. Without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. The burdens of high inflation fall heaviest on those who are least able to bear them. Restoring price stability will take some time and requires using our tools forcefully to bring demand and supply into better balance. Reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below-trend growth. Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would mean far greater pain. And high inflation has continued to spread through the economy. A single month's improvement falls far short of what the committee will need to see before we are confident that inflation is moving down. So, we are moving our policy stance purposefully to a level that will be sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2%. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. Historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy.
Welcome back, friends. So there you go. That is our friend Jerome Powell at the federal government saying, hey, we have some potential pain in front of us. Did you notice his speech? It didn't sound too rainbows and sunshine. Don't you feel bad for the people that were cheerleading this market, trying to tell us this time was different, that there's no crash risk here? Friends, we are, like I've always said at the channel, if you're new, please subscribe right away. There has never been a more important time in history to get forward thinking, critical thinking. Friends, what I'm seeing here, what I'm seeing out of our friend Jerome Powell, they are preparing us for not only a downturn, not only a recession. This one is going to reach, I hate to say this, depressionary levels of an economic downturn. Listen, friends, if you're new to this channel, one of the things we always talk about here are the 3 levels of an economic downturn. We are at stage 1 right now. We are at the front end. I always say tail end of a pandemic, front end of a recession. We are at the front end. We use the U.S. housing market to temperature check and heat map the economy because the U.S. housing market is in fact the biggest asset class in the world. If we lose the U.S. housing market, we in fact lose everything. We are headed for an economic tsunami. The perfect storm, courtesy of that pandemic, has now been delivered. This is just like our friend, the federal government. Man, I'm telling you, I'd hate to be this guy. I would hate to be this guy. Why, you ask? I'm about to tell you. Because it's him that put us here. When they made, as realtors, essential in a health crisis and dropped interest rates to stimulate the economy, they could have got away with all that other stimulus, quite possibly. Stimulus checks, stimulus measures. But when they let the housing market get away from us and then normalize it, now the rug pull, these poor industry people are about to get slammed hard. This is going to be a white collar crash. There's plenty of service sector jobs out there if you need an extra job, plenty of blue collar jobs. White collar jobs are on their way out. Job numbers are next. And he also alluded to that. Get ready for job market pain. That's the only thing they were hanging on to so they didn't have to come announce an official recession. Borrowed time. I've reported on this before. By this summer, we're going to see a flood of inventory and price reductions run rampant. I reported that some of these new housing tracts could in fact see 50% reductions from their original list prices. They are getting mighty close, my friends. By the end of this year, it's on. Buckle up and strap in. Like I said, I would love to be wrong, and miracles still happen. But I acknowledging the elephant in the room that when you overstimulate the biggest asset class in the world, the U.S. housing market, it's gonna provide blowback. That's just the reality of what's going on. So if we can ring the bell and sound the alarm and let people halfway expect it when it hits, they'll be less blindsided and paralyzed by fear when it hits. Listen, friends, I hate reporting on this stuff. I want to talk about home renovations and flipping houses and all the real estate fun that used to happen before this craziness. And this was craziness. Like I said, front end of it, we're at the tail end of a pandemic, front end of a recession. We're at stage 1, which is the correction phase. And this correction is swift. It is moving just as fast as this bubble was created. It's moving as equally as fast. After a correction, we're going to enter a recessionary level of a downturn. And the housing market will always lag behind because it takes a while to get a house off the market, record its sale, and then be able to communicate that data back to everybody else that's relying on data. I always said be forward thinking, critical thinking, ahead of the curve, reading between the lines, looking between the cracks, heat mapping and temperature checking, everything you can, making your own decisions. Don't let others make up your mind for you, especially people that have a vested interest in these markets or need to spin it in a political way to try to spoon feed it to us. We need somebody that's going to give it to us and give it to us straight. And what I'm telling you right now, if we can't stop this at recessionary levels of a downturn, guess what? You guessed it. Depressionary levels of a downturn. That's a once in a century event. We've always had them once in a century, depressions. And we're in the depression cycle. So for me, that has my attention. I don't know about you guys. Leave it in the comments below. If you're new, please subscribe. Subscribe right away. There's never been a more important time in U.S. history to get forward thinking, critical thinking, centered and surrounded with like-minded people. Iron sharpens iron. Congratulations to anybody that's stuck with the channel and listen to these hard-to-hear messages, but hopefully in a way that makes enough sense to get your attention. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Being a balanced, level-headed realist, temperature checking and understanding, having hard to have conversations in a way that doesn't alarm you to the point where you're paralyzed by fear and you're swept up in reverse FOMO. That is what's happening right now as we speak. Most people aren't in touch with economics the way we've talked about here today. I had to suffer the effects of the last Great Recession and financial crisis to get my attention to the point as even as somebody who works in the industry actively came to the channel and started letting people know this one doesn't sustain itself. It was an artificially created bubble. Now it's not even the fact. Like a lot of people used to argue as if this isn't a bubble. Now that we're way past if this was a bubble or not. It's now how deep will the downturn reach? You're going to have to stay tuned for that one, but I have my thoughts on that one and we will be covering that as well. If you appreciate the content I do want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on. I think you might enjoy. If you need to help buying or selling real estate currently and an agent, I have a network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. We will, in fact, help you. Also, if you like motorcycles the way I do, there's a second channel I've launched around professional motocross just for fun. Try to bring my brand of coverage to that industry, blowing the lid off of a lot of things. That new channel is in the description below as well. If you're watching from your television set today and you like this video, I know you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make a count today. I will see you on the next video.